Hey guys, Happy New Year. Sorry it's been a bit. Senior year has been kicking my ass. I figured I'd start off this new year by rating some of the games I played last year. Just, for funsies. I will warn you now, I suck at rating things, but also I feel like I only really remember the better games I played this year. If it wasn't that good, I probably forgot I played it, so yeah. First up, we have Final Fantasy XVI. I am a huge fan of the Final Fantasy series, and I was very excited to play this one, and I'm very happy to say it did not disappoint. Like basically all other Final Fantasy games, it takes its own approach to settings and how the world works, but the big important one is how the deities are pictured. I feel like that was the biggest change, and in this case, they're called icons, and they're just really fucking big. Like that, they're just really big, like mountain-sized big. I had a whole section talking about like why I really like this game, but the important thing is really just I thought the gameplay was really cool. Little spoiler for it here, I'll give you a second to click away or skip to the video. I'll probably put a timestamp up here. I don't know. You gone? Good. Basically, Clive's your protagonist. There's these people called Dominants, and they can kind of like channel the gods. And Clive can say, screw that, and then steal their power. And he can't like fully channel the gods like they could, but he can summon parts of their power to use in the combat, which, the whole thing about the combat is just chaining together your different moves and all the stuff you can do with the different godly abilities. It's really cool. Personally, my favorite combo is Phoenix, Bahamut, and Titan, just because, those give some of the best, like, in-slot abilities, and then obviously if you've mastered abilities, you can set them to be on dominance they're not a part of, if that makes sense. I don't know. Makes sense if you played the game. I don't know. I just like having Mega Flare and the counter, and then I don't actually know why I use Phoenix other than just it's the one you start with, and I thought it'd be funny. Yeah, I thought Final Fantasy XVI was a great game. The visuals are just gorgeous. So it had me engaged for basically the entire thing, and the gameplay is just so fun. Great hack and slash, honestly. I haven't played the DLC, but I'm doing a New Game Plus playthrough right now, chipping away at it, and I have the DLC, so once I get to the very end of the game, I'll be able to experience it then, and I don't know, maybe I'll like tweet about it or something. Because for some reason, the DLC is only accessible right before the final boss, which is hilarious. I think Final Fantasy moving towards action RPGs is a good choice, honestly. Like, obviously, they used to be turn-based RPGs, and then as we've gone on, they've just become more and more action, and I think it's a great approach, because we still get a lot of turn-based RPGs, even from Square themselves. And so I think Final Fantasy moving in the direction it is a fine enough choice. I love more turn-based RPGs in Final Fantasy, but I don't think there's anything wrong with going the action RPG route. I give Final Fantasy XVI a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Keeping with the spirit of action RPGs, we have Nier Automata. Nier Automata? Automata? I don't know. Nier. The second one, I think. A game generally... Jesus Christ, Nico. A game generally considered amazing by, like, everyone I know who's played it, and, they were right. I'm one of those people now. I think it's probably up there as one of the best games I've played, like, ever. Like, maybe not top 5, maybe, I'd have to think about that, but definitely in the top 10. I initially came for the gameplay, and I was told it was a great story, but I went in, like, 100% blind other than 2B and A2 exist. That's about it. I'm very glad I went in blind, because the story is what carried this game for me. I went in expecting gameplay. I came out with a new perspective on things, to say the least. I won't go into detail due to spoilers, which I know it's an 8-year-old game, but I genuinely think anyone who's interested should absolutely play this game as blind as possible, because it is fabulous. One of the best overarching stories I've ever experienced. I do like how there was a shit ton of different endings. I thought that was really funny, but the fact that getting all the main ones is as simple as just keep loading your save file is really nice in my opinion. That made it a very simple experience. I really didn't have to go out of my way for anything. And it also got me interested in the rest of Yoko Taro's work, so I'm definitely going to play Nier Replicant at some point, and maybe even the weird, like, card game trilogy he put out a while ago. I want to say more, but I feel like the game would deserve its own dedicated video, which I might give it, I might not, depends on if I ever do another playthrough. If you played the game for yourself, you know why it's amazing. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend playing it. If you're on console, it should only run you about $20 for a used copy, and if you wait for like any semblance of sale, you could probably get it cheaper. Please play it if you haven't. I won't be forgetting it anytime soon. I think people should play it because not enough people have, even though it's a very popular game. I give Nier Automata a 9 out of 10. Next is Elden Ring. I know, shocking. It came out like 3 years ago. I got it at launch, played a little bit, got roadblocked by Renala like 15 hours in, and didn't really play it until the beginning of this year. And I'm very glad I did. It was very fun, so rewarding, unironically probably one of the better gameplay experiences I've ever had in my life. And I say that as someone who heavily values gameplay in their video games. You know what I mean. I tried to avoid using online guides, which didn't last super long. Like, I didn't use it to tell me where to go. I only really used it to like find certain items, mainly so I could upgrade my weapon. But I mostly actually just relied on my friends, because I had a few friends who played it, and oh boy, it is so fun to just play through it, like kind of blind or like relying on other people. It made me feel like a kid again, where like I didn't know you could just look stuff up online, so I had to find other people who had played the game and ask them for help, and that made my playthrough really special to me, especially because I got to talk to my friends about something we all had interest in, and I got to genuinely like reach out to them consistently for help over the course of a few weeks. And I just think that's really fun and special. I ended up doing a lot of like the main side quests that unlock the various endings, but I never actually committed to an ending. Mostly because I was like, oh, I'll get the DLC, and then I never got the DLC, and so my save file is just sitting ready to like pick an ending, but I haven't picked an ending yet. But I'll do that eventually, I promise. I did end up doing a lot of the optional fights, with my favorite being Placidus X. I don't know, the big three-headed dragon. People are always praising the boss fights in FromSoft games, and I could understand why, but like, it's the difference between like, oh, I understand this game has great design and great boss fights, to, oh my god, this is an amazing boss fight. Even though some bosses are never seen, like Placidus X is completely optional, and if it wasn't for my friends telling me exactly where to find him, I wouldn't have ever found him. But that was a fun moment for me. I'm like losing my place in my script. I blocked it out so I could like do multiple takes, but honestly, I'm just enjoying taking this in one. That's derailing. Yeah, I want to replay the game just at some point in New Game Plus, just so I can redo some of the fights. I hear the DLC has some incredible fights, like Radon again. That was hilarious, but I don't have the DLC. Maybe someday. Overall, Elden Ring, great game, leaves a lot up to player choice in terms of basically everything, and while I wish it gave me a little bit more guidance on where to go at times, I know some people absolutely adored the fact that the game gives you very little. My main example, for my perspective, is the Star Festival. I did not know where it was, how it was, or when I unlocked it, and because of that, I was a little bit over-leveled when I got there, but I won't hold that against the game since I definitely could have done more to find it. And again, people really enjoyed that they kind of had to like find it themselves, and I really respect that. I give Elden Ring an 8 out of 10 as well. Keeping with the FromSoft theme, Dark Souls 3, I bought the whole trilogy for PlayStation because it was honestly cheaper than buying one of the games on Steam. And at the recommendation of the friends who helped me play Elden Ring, I was told to play Dark Souls 3 first. So, you know, sometime next year, or this year I guess actually, I'll play Dark Souls Remastered, and then I'll follow that up with Dark Souls 2. But I started with 3. I absolutely use guides for this game. but that wasn't by choice. Mind you, keep in mind, I'm very stupid. But everyone always tells me that Dark Souls 3 is linear, and I would say, no the fuck it's not. I got lost way too much, and what felt like the obvious route to me ended up being like every single optional area. I mostly needed the guides just to tell me what the main routing was, because, for example, I know I had to go there eventually, but I did, the big, like, horde enemy, it's like Deacons of the Deep or whatever, right as I unlocked it instead of later on when I needed the item I got from it. And then to get to the Fire Giants arena, I had no clue where I was going. I needed a guide to tell me how to get there because, to me, I ended up going through a lot of the areas I didn't need to, which made for a great experience. But the obvious route to me was not the obvious, or was not the actual route, and so I ended up in the wrong areas. Definitely a skill issue on my end, but I felt a little lied to. Anyway, onto my thoughts. I thought it was a great game, honestly. I don't know if I'd think it's better than Elden Ring, but I think that's just because I played Elden Ring first. You know, I could tell it was an older FromSoft game, and that's fine. I can't really explain why I enjoyed it other than just the level design was great, the plot that I did pick up on was cool, and I really liked just being a knight the whole time. I don't know how to say it other than just that was fun. Plot? Couldn't tell you what it is other than Soul's a Cinder and fight the dude that's basically just another Souls protagonist. But that's a fire choice. I love when the enemies are scaled to like your strengths. Like Rajang from Rajang? I don't know. From Monster Hunter. But Soul of Cinder fight roadblocked me for like 3 hours. Mostly because of his one command grab, but as soon as I got that, I beat it instantly. Really cool game, really cool fight, 7.5 out of 10. I am a mess right now. Up next, we have my favorite genre, the indie games. Oh yeah, this is where I have a lot of fun. This one is probably one of my favorite indie games of recent memory, Peglin. On its Steam page, it's described as a mix between Peggle and Slay the Spire, which are both absolutely amazing games, and in such, Peglin is also absolutely amazing. It's something you really need to experience to truly get, either by playing it or watching videos on it. Like, you just need to interact with it, because saying it's like Slay the Spire, except instead of cards you have orbs and you play Peggle, doesn't really do it. But I think it's great. They also did the Slay the Spire thing of a lot of relics have a downside, but the upside they provide is also good, which when I played Slay the Spire, I almost never took. But in Peglin, I take all the time. I think I should replay Slay the Spire now that I actually have a frontal lobe. But I love it. I had stuff to say about like the characters and all that, but honestly, that doesn't matter, because all you need to know is that Peglin is really well done, it's really well balanced, and it's really fun. I've been watching Peglin videos for like 2 years now, all of which from the YouTube channel Aliens Rock. Great channel, highly recommend. They mostly play puzzle games, but they do play some other stuff. A lot of variety, there's something for everyone. Really funny guy, the editors are amazing. I love Aliens Rock, go watch him. But yeah, that aside, fanboying. I've been watching him play Peglin since like it came out, and getting to finally play it this year has been just as much fun as I'd hoped, if not more, because obviously in a game like this there's a lot of different builds, and I have experienced builds that I haven't seen him do, which is just really cool. I unironically think I've never had runs feel similar, even when I'm doing the same style of build. I give it another super solid 8.5 out of 10. Genre switch, Guilty Gear Strive, my favorite fighting game of all time. Obviously this game has been out for a while. I've been playing it since it came out, so like 4 years now or something, but I did play it this year, so it counts. So Season 3 of this Guilty Gear Strive started at the end of last year, and I started playing it a lot back in December when Elphelt came out, and I played a lot more as well when Abba and Slayer came out in the earlier months of this year. In fact, I did even hit peak floor 10. I tried for Celestial, immediately got demoted back to floor 8, so watch out. West Coast servers for the win. Anyways, Season 3 was great. things were really balanced, characters felt fun, at least the ones I played did, and you could feel the balance falling apart at the end because some of Slayer's moves were a little strong, but I think that might also just been because I didn't know what I was doing, but he wasn't game-breaking. Everything was very good. And then Season 4 happened. It started on Halloween of this year, and it was definitely a new season, and you could tell. Every single character got better health values, and they said that was in order to let more interactions occur in a match, but they also like mega buffed a lot of moves' damages. So it didn't really do its job, and instead created what is essentially a soft party patch for this game that was not at all close to a party game before. In case you don't know, a party patch is basically just when a balancing of a fighting game is ruined. This is my interpretation of it, at least. And it becomes kind of something that like you could pick up and play at a party even if you don't know what you're doing. Dragon Ball FighterZ, his last update was a party patch, and there was some thoughts on that, but I thought it was funny. Almost every single character got a few major changes, like, unironically. It could range from the first real Soul bad guy nerf since the game came out, and focusing on what his role is supposed to be, to changing inputs like Axel Low going from a charge move to a quarter circle, definitely didn't screw anyone over, to completely changing how Sin interacts with his stamina mechanic, which I definitely felt the brunt of because I play a lot of Sin. And so a lot of characters had to find completely new combo routes because not only were new ones created, but old ones were just straight up deleted out of the game. For example, Sin Kisk Hoof Stomp into no follow-up into Close Slash again doesn't really work anymore. I hope this becomes an outdated video by that, but who knows. But yeah, basically combo routes fucked up. And I love Season 4. It is so funny. Dizzy is an insane character if you never fought her before, but if you have, or if you don't know what you're doing when playing Dizzy, instantly balances it out, and I think this is a great patch. There are some changes I don't really like, which is such as removing Roman canceling from Dragon Punches. I can kind of understand why they did it, but it just feels weird. But I really love Strive, and while it's far from perfect, it's got potential to last for a lot longer. People online were saying the game was going to die after Season 4 dropped, but a fighting game ain't dead unless only one person plays it. If there's 2 people, that game can keep running sets and it will never die, as long as those 2 people still play. I give Strive an 8 out of 10. I have more to say, but it's already taken up, I think, the largest section of this video. I don't know. Anyways, I obviously played a lot of other games, and while I could say a lot about these games, I don't feel the need to, or want to, so I'm just going to kind of speed around some of these. Persona 3 Reload. Great game, great remake. I prefer portable. I want to play Fez at some point like the original PS2 Fez, but Reload is still good. Solid 7 out of 10. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Again, great game, really fun. I adored playing it. It's held back by a few problems in my opinion, mainly stemming from the fact that it's a sequel that the devs say you can experience standalone, and while you certainly can, I would not recommend it. It's an 8 out of 10 if you have played Remake. It's a 5 out of 10 if you haven't. Please play it, but please play Remake first. Please. Balatro, absolutely fabulous game. It's designed so fucking well, and it's just a joy to play. Runs can be quick and snappy, or long drawn-out serotonin simulators for big numbers. It was nominated for Game of the Year for a reason. It even affected some of my rankings when I was thinking about games as games and not as mediums to tell a story, because while that's great, they should be games. You know why Balatro is great, I know why Balatro is great. If you haven't played Balatro, go play Balatro. 9 out of 10. Animal Well. A very charming Metroidvania that I know I would have adored as a kid, but it just doesn't feel complete to me. It felt like it had more going. It felt like it could have had so much more, but you know what? It was still super fun, and I enjoyed my time. I just don't personally see myself replaying it anytime soon. 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10. Monster Hunter World. You already know how I feel about this. I'm putting it here because I beat Fatalis this year. I don't remember if I beat Elatrion this year or last year. It's kind of a blur. Doesn't matter. I beat Fatalis. Fabulous game. 8 out of 10. Can't wait for Wilds. Monster Hunter Rise. Same deal. You know I love this game. I played it a lot this year as well. I prefer World, but I do still love Rise. It's my most played Monster Hunter game, mostly thanks to the multiplayer actually being utilized by me for once. 7.5 out of 10. Can't wait for Wilds. Risk of Rain 2 and Risk of Rain Returns. Some of my favorite roguelikes out there and just overall games out there. Super fun, especially in multiplayer. In multiplayer especially, actually, they get so much more chaotic, having that extra person to have fun with. Yeah, the games get really hectic, can crash your computer if you aren't careful, but I usually die before that happens. Go play them. They're amazing. 8.5 out of 10 for both. Got a bit of a fighting game binge here. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Really cool fighting game. It has a lot of Arc Sys charm that shines through while still being a great way of converting Persona to a fighting game. I'm shit at it, but it's fun. 7 out of 10. Under Night in Burst 2. I got this game for my birthday at the beginning of December, but I played the open beta forever ago on PlayStation when that happened, and I adored it. Now that I actually have the full game, I still adore it. It has a really unique combo structure, to me at least, as someone who has mostly played more modern fighting games, and the combos are just really cool and fun to do, and honestly not as difficult as I expected, while still having a layer of difficulty for the people who want that. Very conducive to making your own chains as well, which I think is a great choice. I need to play it more. 7.5 out of 10. Melty Blood Type Lumina. Another really fun fighting game I played simply because NecoArc is in it. That's the whole reason. Also, I gotta play it for free because the PlayStation Plus catalog. Or game catalog. I don't know what it's called. It reminds me that sometimes the most fun I can have in a fighting game is when me and my opponent barely know what we are doing and are just having fun shield countering the shit out of each other. 7 out of 10. And for now, that's all the games I remember playing this year. I promise there are games I think are below a 7 out of 10. I just don't think about them that often. I mostly remember the games I enjoyed playing, or, you know, really just stuck with me, even if they weren't great gameplay-wise. I also just tend to enjoy games a lot, so even if games aren't that good, I find reasons to give it a good score. It's a habit I need to fix. Maybe we'll do this again next year, and that'll be fixed. Who knows? But yeah, for me, now that's all for me. I hope y'all enjoyed. Do the interactions if you feel so inclined. Like, subscribe, you know the works. Bell even. I really enjoyed making this one. I hope to see y'all soon. Hopefully senior year doesn't continue to kick my ass. Have a good one.